Welcome back to the program, and we talked about it just as we were going into break. I'm going to go ahead and introduce him. Stephen Hemmert, author of a new book called Dating and the 50-Year-Old Man.
That's
and
right.
What an interesting background, because in the break, you were talking about how you basically, you were married for, I think you said 16 years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Didn't work out, had a little time off, then you met someone with her for 5 years, didn't work out, now you're in a dating world.
Right.
Tell us about that experience specifically as a 50-year-old man.
Well, yeah, I originally was raised in Oklahoma, so I was taught to be a Southern gentleman, if you would, to women, and that's the way I've always felt that women should be treated with respect and all. And the one thing I discovered getting back out at middle age was a lot of the things like that had changed. Women were a lot more aggressive. That's not to say that's a bad thing. It's just simply what it is.
I want to stop you there.
Okay.
Is that a turnoff for men?
Yes and no. I think that there's still this primordial thing in men that we want to be the hunter. Right. Mm-hmm. That we want to go out and to claim our prey, and I don't mean women are prey, but we want to go out and hunt for that buffalo.
Well, we are animals, I mean, so...
Yes, we are.
You know,
some more than others.
Some women don't like to, they can go down that, but I mean, let's be honest. So I was curious, because we had that conversation yesterday, and I want to know because I know there's a lot of women that are going to be watching this, single women here in Santa Clarita, and they're going to be thinking, okay, what does he think about that we're aggressive and that we're, what?
Well, again, it's very gratifying that you can find a woman that finds you attractive and wants to pursue you. I mean, that's a wonderful ego boost.
It takes the pressure off us, doesn't it, a little bit, doesn't it?
It does. The downside of it is that, at least for me, that I prefer to get to know someone. I want to know more about their character, what makes them tick. And a lot of that was sort of tossed under the rug, if you would, because of the aggressiveness of, and I don't mean just meeting me and wanting to go out with me, but actually wanting to be intimate and wanting it to happen fairly readily. And it was an eye-opener, and I won't say it's a bad thing. For me, it was a turnoff in many cases. But at the same time, I enjoyed it. I'd be lying if I didn't say I felt great pleasure from it and felt that women thought I was attractive. And at 50, you mentioned that, we men kind of wonder, well, do we still have it? Yeah. We had it maybe in our 20s and 30s, and we were in better shape and all these sort of things, and it didn't seem that impossible to attract a woman. But now we wonder, after going through divorce and separation of another relationship, do I still have it? Do I still have that je ne sais quoi, or that attractiveness to women? And I found out I did, and I was very pleased with that. But the rapidness, or how things progress so quickly, was a little disconcerting at times.
Now, in the book, you have specific cases of women that you dated once you were in your 50s and you were going through this. Right. And the unique thing about it, you are a winemaker. Right. You are the bottler and the maker of what is now my favorite wine, Juan's Red, which is at Le Chien Restaurant. Right. And I think it's exclusively at Le Chien Restaurant.
It is.
I think so, because it's named for Juan Alonso, the owner. But you compare the women that you write about, which are you're using different names, to wines. Exactly. Make that comparison. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, one of the things I thought about is and there's actually a chapter called Women and Wine. And the way I look at it is each woman had their certain characteristics, their certain profile, if you would. And so what I did is I said, well, why not equate this to wine? There were some that I compared to champagne or sparkling wine, where she was very effervescent and very happy and very sort of excited and exciting. And then there's some that I compared to a Cabernet, which is a little more tannic, a little more roughed edged to a degree. Great complexity, great balance, but a little tannic, a little over the top sometimes. And I think that in looking back, it was the great thing for me to do, because it really pours out of my spirit because of what I do with wine, and equates itself well in the book.
And so now you break down actual interactions that you've had with women here in Valencia at restaurants here in Valencia. But,
Oh, the cat's out of the bag.
The names have changed to protect me, not
names
so
are
innocent.
changed, so you would never know who it is.
Right.
I know you could use some interesting names there. You've changed
Right.
them to Judy, and you would never know who it was. I'm
No,
so glad you changed my name to Jezebel. That was so great.
Isn't that great?
So great. Thank you.
Well, now the secret's out.
Yeah.
But no, I did change the names. But to be honest with you, I say at the very beginning of the book that if these women were to read the chapter about them, not even knowing that it's them, because again the names are changed. Some of the locale has changed. I've changed the names of the places that things took place because not only did I not want to necessarily get sued if there was a problem, but the thing is trying to be more genuine with the location, the people who own the location where we met, or the woman herself. But if they read it, they'll know exactly who they are. So I hope I don't wind up tomorrow with a knife in my back. But, you know, of course, I wouldn't wake up, would I?
Well, but then they would. But then the anonymity would be gone at that point, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Because then everyone would know who you were writing about.
Exactly.
So now, are there good experiences in here too? Or are they all kind of? I thumbed through and I was laughing at the break and I read a couple. But are there some good experiences? You break down some really good experiences.
Oh, there are, and there's actually some where I have to question myself. And I'll tell you, this book is not me standing on a pedestal saying that these women are bad, or I'm judging these women, or judging these experiences. I'm involved. It's me too. I take great responsibility, and in some cases accolades, but great responsibility for what occurred here. It's never a one-way street. And so I say in the book that I was open to all these experiences happening, good or bad. Are there good ones mentioned? Absolutely. And on the good ones, when things didn't work out or I let them go, I had to take a hard look at myself and say, why is this? Why did I let this relationship go? It had potential. Why did I light the fuse to blow it up or diffuse it? So there's a lot of self-introspection in this book, and it became a very spiritual thing for me too, because I do meditate and I'm sort of into Paramahansa Yogananda's teaching about spirituality and us being responsible for everything that happens to our lives. Not that something bad happens to us, that we're part of that. And so, great catharsis for me. And I felt a great relief when I was done with it. And I cried in this book, and I laughed in the book too.
Are you hoping to educate those men who find themselves single in their 50s that it is possible? Are you trying to let them know what to expect when it's happening?
It's more to what to expect, because I can't tell you I end this book with a great sense of completion, that, hey, I found someone and here she is and this is forever. I can't tell you that. That'd be disingenuous on my part. So what I really do is I paint the picture of what I experienced. And in putting it out there already, David, I could tell you that I've had women, especially women, which has amazed me, write back and say, my friend's done this to men, or this has happened. Old fraternity brothers have called me out of the blue after buying the book and saying, oh my goodness, this just happened to me. Some of these dates you mentioned in here exactly happened to me in Springfield, Missouri, or Chicago, Illinois. So I think what I'm just doing is imparting what my experiences, but at the end there is a bit of resolve where I have to ask myself, what am I doing and what am I wanting out of life? And I think a lot of people in their 50s that go through something like this or don't really know what to do now that the divorce is done and the kids are grown, what do I want? And then how do I get it and how am I peaceful with that? So there is a lot of spirituality in it, a lot of delving into myself. And I think that's what brought the book full circle. In the beginning, it was very, I won't say frivolous stories, but very funny sort of one-nighters, two-nighters, things that happen. In the end of the book, it gets very serious and it gets very, in some ways, sad, but yet there's hope.
All right. Well, you heard it here. It sounds like a great book for men and women.
It is.
Yeah. And where can we get a copy? Do you have a website that we can link to?
Right now, my website's being built. I do have Dating in the 50-Year-Old Man at Gmail is my email address. The only place you can get it right now is at Amazon.com. It's available in the Kindle, and it's available also in paperback, which is here. If you, the easiest way to search it is go to Amazon and type in Stephen Hemmert,
We'll link to it.
I'm right next to Stephen King.
We'll link to it from our website, scvtoday.com. If you go to guest, you'll find the link there.
Perfect.
So perfect. Thank you so much for stopping
Thank you
by.
for having me. I
Hopefully
really
we'll touch some lives with this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. And when we come back, we're going to have Maura Hoisington from Copper Eagle demonstrating some self-defense techniques. Stay tuned.